Whether you travel only occasionally or every month, you should plan for things going wrong when away from home. Unlike your disaster recovery plan for home and work, the plan while you travel is much more likely to be called into action because you have much less control over the environment, and there are hazards to your system you might not even realize. For example, several seasoned travelers have commented to me that something about air travel erodes the life of their computers. Maybe it's the security scans or the higher levels of radiation exposure during long flights, or just the jostling that portables endure when traveling. But road warriors have to replace their systems more often than the homebodies. Providing the hardware survives getting there, a common thing that is taken for granted is suitable access to the internet. There doesn't have to be any disaster or outage to keep you from having the connectivity required. The first step is to determine what sources of connectivity will be at the destination and while traveling to and from your destination. For example, I always pay close attention to the cost and nature of connectivity at the hotel where I'm staying. If I'm staying at someone's house, then I still ask the question. Many times I arrive and find that the internet's not working, is acting up, or is just so slow to the point of being unusable. This is where having a travel option for alternative internet access is a must. Tethering to a phone is a great option if you've done the legwork ahead of time to ensure that you can make it happen when needed, and the MiFi portable access points are very helpful, especially if you have one on a different carrier than your phone to spread out your options. A traveling developer either has to have access to their system to demonstrate something or to get something done. In either case, that requires a system with a very specific configuration. While taking the media on DVD to reinstall on the road is an option, it's normally a bad option, especially when boot to VHD is ready to fill that need. If your notebook dies on the plane or in the hotel, then having a portable hard drive with the system image on a VHD, or vertical hard drive, will let you use any Windows 7 system and boot from that VHD. This capability is available in all versions of Windows 7 and is also, as one might expect, available on Windows 8 as well. There is, however, a common point of confusion about this feature. While you can use any version of Windows 7 on the hardware to enable you to boot from a VHD, the OS on the VHD must be Windows 7 Ultimate or Professional rather than any other edition of Windows 7 for it to work when booted from the VHD. Not a huge concern for most developers, who hardly ever use SKUs lower than Professional, but potentially a nasty surprise awaits if you use Home Edition and fail to test your assumptions ahead of needing the fallback plan to actually work. Another approach is to keep a fully configured system as a backup at home or in the office that's set up to accept RDP connections, or that is set up with LogMeIn or some other remote control software. While it still has the dependency of solid internet access, which we just discussed is not always a given, it is a valid fallback in many cases. That leads us to bandwidth limits. I've personally been in situations repeatedly where something goes wrong, and while I have paths to recovery, the easiest are often not available due to the need to pull something large down over the internet using a connection that's just not up to the task, either in terms of bandwidth speed or cost per megabyte. This usually happens to me when I'm in Europe or Asia, but there are plenty of places closer to home where this can also happen. For that reason, I carry a pack of DVDs with the most important programs and data for my mission. A survival DVD pack will include the media for OSs that you use, SQL Server, your current flavor or flavors of Visual Studio, along with whatever else enables your process. And don't forget your data. This is the only DVD that you probably have to burn fresh before each trip. We're all now accustomed to there being many devices needing batteries in our lives. In my way of looking at it, there are two categories of these devices: those that have removable batteries and those that don't. For the removable battery devices, I always keep two batteries with me and ensure that the backup one is fully charged. For the other type, I leverage the portable chargers such as the plug-in battery pack that fits phones and iPads to give me a way to recharge when I'm away from a plug. I can run out of juice, but mobile devices are typically redundant for their usage, such that a phone can check email or let you look something up almost as well as a tablet can in a pinch. On the road, you live on your laptop or tablet, maybe your phone more than usual as well. The battery life of your devices matters most at these times. Since the advent of lithium-ion batteries, there's been confusion about the best way to maximize the life expectancy, especially for laptop batteries. While battery memory is not really a problem for these newer batteries, there's still things you can do to extend the life so that they're useful when needed. The biggest way to save the battery in most laptops is to not leave the battery in the system when it's plugged in, unless you're specifically charging the battery. The reason for this is that the exposure to heat is one of the main factors that hurts a lithium-ion battery's capabilities. It's a painful habit to keep up sometimes, especially since everyone always assumes they can just unplug your notebook and add a power strip, and they only realize that they should have asked you when you gasp and suddenly look at them with murder in your eyes. This happened to me just last week, but thanks to this protocol, my batteries last easily twice as long as anyone else in the company, and I travel twice as much as just about everyone else. Another interesting battery story is from over a decade ago. While preparing to travel to Nepal, my friend and mentor Bruce Baca searched for the perfect device to keep contact numbers, notes, a journal, and generally anything else that does better in an electronic device rather than paper. He found a little Casio with solid-state memory that took AA batteries that served him well and allowed him to always find batteries without concern about adapters, because battery sizes are universal, and AA is the easiest battery size to find when you're traveling. If I were to go on a trip like that, I think I'd prefer to have a dependency on AA batteries than on reliable plug-in power, coupled with requiring the right adapter from region to region. You can always pack in 20 or 30 batteries if you need them.